And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch, but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered in multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big Monday, folks. It is preseason week, folks. Preseason. Let's get is there Thursday preseason games on today, or is it just Sunday? Let's quickly take a look right here. We got Thursday. We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. One Sunday? Oh my goodness, folks, buckle up because we got preseason football action all weekend long. This is fantastic. So we are now in the thick of it, folks. Truly, last week was just a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a crumb with one preseason game, but now we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, folks. So buckle up. We're getting into the thick of it. The quarterback battles are really going to be put to the test this week when you go out there and, fight. I mean, you want to win these games. These are still games to be played. Yeah, they don't have any kind of real weight in the regular seasons, but there's still a winner at the end of it. So I want to be that winning team. So these quarterbacks, go out there, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew. Go out and win that starting job, baby. And we're going to keep big tracks of that. And we're definitely going to be looking at the quarterbacks heavy, folks. We're definitely going to be watching some preseason games. And I think we're only going to be focusing on the quarterbacks. That's probably the best way to do it, just because it is preseason. We'll focus on maybe some rookies as well, and Najee Harris. Maybe we'll keep track of some year two guys, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, if they're getting any burn, and Tom Brady. We'll even get a look at Tom Brady because we're going to be talking about the Bucs preseason and what their strategy is. Seems like everybody's going to be playing. So buckle up, folks. Preseason is full swing this week, starting Thursday. Cannot wait. So we're going to be focusing on that this week, as we can kind of, we do have Game Pass, so we can watch that film and all that. But today on the show, we are going to be continuing on with our NFL team refreshers, seeing what the team did last season, seeing what they did this offseason, what do they get, who do they pick up, who do they draft, who do they lose, and then walking through their schedule and seeing how many wins they can get. We just did the Patriots yesterday on the show, and we're not big into this Patriots team. They do have a workable, winnable schedule. I just don't think Cam Newton is going to go out there and win those games. So we have them projected at 8-9. We can see 10 plus wins because it, like we said, it is a winnable schedule, but this overall offense, we're just not big on the offense. The defense I'm cool with. Bill Belichick leading that Patriots defense, I've got no problem with it, but it's Cam Newton and tier 2 wide receivers and tight ends and running backs. I don't think it's going to work out so well. So we have them projected at 8-9, and we'll spin the wheel today and see what team we are going to be looking at today in our team refresher. So that's what we've got today on the show. So let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. And folks, finally, folks, our canvas of Saquon Barkley, folks, it's finally coming relevant again because Saquon Barkley is back, baby. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been going through this entire offseason with no timetable of Saquon Barkley being back, and we don't even know if this man is even going to play week 1. But today, he has been officially taken off the PUP list, physically unable to perform list. So, hey, he can be practicing whenever he's feeling ready. Now, unfortunately, they are still going to take it very, very slow here with Saquon Barkley. It's not like he's going right into practice. It's probably not like he's going to play any preseason games either. And so this is a small step, but it is a much-needed small step to get this man ready to go week 1 because we need to see this man back in action, folks. We did not put this man on a canvas for no reason. We do not love this man's beefy, athletic leg for no reason, folks. We want to see this man out there on the field. But this is a slight, small step 1. So We're going to go into this article right here, and this time we're kind of breaking out of our comfort zone of articles. We're going to look at a New York Post article written by, I believe, Paul Schwartz to see what he's saying about Saquon Barkley and their approach and how quickly he can potentially get up to full speed in practice, and is he going to play in any preseason games at all. So we had a choice to look at an NFL.com article, but that's all. We always look at the NFL.com articles. Let's go out of our kind of usual spot and see what other kind of magazines and it's not newspapers and online articles are saying about Saquon Barkley. So let's just jump right into this article and see if this man's got any better information for us. Paul Schwartz, what are his credentials? Obviously, he works for the New York Post. I've been the Post's Giants beat writer since 1994, so absolutely fantastic. Hopefully he's got some good information here on what they plan on having Saquon Barkley do as he initially begins kind of the training camp practice process here. It's starting today, folks, so here we go. The time has arrived. The wait is over. Saquon Barkley makes his long-awaited, truly long, extra long-awaited return this week, joining his teammates on the field for the first time since the devastating knee injury that ended his 2020 season after 2 games. This is what the Giants want and need to happen now rather than later, as hopes remain that he is able to suit up and play in the season opener against the Broncos. So once again, I mean, we don't have the timetable. We're assuming he's going to play week 1, but just by all the kind of the videos and everything that we've been seeing, but what we've been hearing from him and the training staff and Joe Judge, the head coach, it's like they don't even know. They don't even know. I mean, Joe Burrow had his entire leg broken, and freaking he's back already practicing. So we were a little skeptical on Saquon Barkley, a little worried about Saquon Barkley, but like we said, this is the first step. So let's continue on here in the article. That September 12th game is still 5 weeks away, and Barkley and the Giants will use that time to determine how far his right knee has come and how much further it has to go before he is ready to carry the football and get hit and tackled in live action. Barkley finally will be activated off the physically unable to perform list, a source told the Post, as the Giants ramp up practice this week in advance of Saturday night's preseason opener against the Jets. Barkley will not play in that game, of course, and is not expected to play in the next 2 preseason games either. So once again, yes, this is a good step, but it's such a small step. I don't even want to get excited over this because we're still not going to see this man in action, and it's still like, yeah, he's off the PUP list, but it's like he's still going to be like physically unable to perform out there. So, I guess we have to celebrate it a little bit. This is the best news of Saquon Barkley we've gotten all off season, so I guess, but jeez, I wish this was, Saquon Barkley coming back, hitting the holes, ready to go, week 1, right now, running in between tackles, embracing the contact, making the first hit. Actively not hitting the wide open holes just to get that contact back. That's what I want to hear. But that's not what we're hearing. Unfortunate. Let's keep going here. The Giants will not rush their star running back in any way, shape, or form, acclimating him into individual drills until he shows he can handle more of a workload. The goal is to make sure Barkley, 24, does not experience any setbacks and that his progress unhurried remains steady. And yes, that's, we don't want to see this man get injured, so they are taking the right approach. It's just frustrating. We got a canvas of this man. We don't see Derrick Henry not practicing, we see Najee Harris practicing. We're seeing all these other great running backs that we love practicing. It makes us love them even more and just kind of fully puts us into that football mood and football spirit. But we don't get that with Saquon Barkley. Unfortunate. Truly. All right, what else we got? We got some quotes here. We're almost done with the article. Got about 3 paragraphs left, and some of these are quotes. So here we go. Who's saying this quote? This is Joe Judge. So here we go. Quote by Joe Judge. Quote, "We're going to have conversations on a daily basis about his rehab and conversations on a weekly basis at times on where we think he is coming up." In terms of the timetable, I'm not a doctor. I let the medical team tell me a guy is good to go and put him on the field. I know he's good to go. So that's what we're saying. Why is nobody even saying a timetable? Yes, Joe Judge is saying he's not a doctor, but you have doctors. There's team doctors that you can talk to that should be talking. You're the head coach. You should be talking to these doctors every single day. So you should know the timetable. Joe Judge, we're not asking you to come up with the timetable. We're asking you to relay the information that the doctors told you about his timetable. So what is the timetable? We just want a timetable, because if there's no timetable, if nobody's actively saying a timetable, that's a real bad red flag. Because, if the timetable's like 4 months, you're not going to tell anybody, oh, it's 4 months. You're going to be like, yeah, we got no timetable. If the timetable is 4 months, you do not say there is a timetable. Because you don't want everybody to freak out like me doing right now, freaking out that Saquon Barkley may not play this year. How crazy. Ugh, I just want the timetable. Tell me the timetable and I'll leave y'all alone. I just want to know the timetable so I got a date. Damn. Let's keep going here. Another quote, this time, I believe, by Joe Judge still. So here we go. Quote, in terms of a player like Saquon in a timetable coming back, he's making daily progress. I know it sounds like a broken record, and it does. We've been reading every single quote by Joe Judge and Saquon Barkley and the medical staff, and they're all saying the same thing. Ugh. I know it sounds like a broken record, but that's important for us to see coming off an injury like this. You want to make sure that it's not pushed forward and take a step back. I agree, Joe Judge. I'm not disagreeing. I just want the timetable. That's it. Just tell me. I won't even tell everybody else. I won't put it out there on the show. Joe Judge, I'm going to call you after the show and just tell me the timetable. Tell me. I won't tell all the other people watching. I'll leave it between us, okay? I just need to know, please. All right, let's finish up the article here. Here we go. Barkley worked on a side field in the first 2 weeks of training camp, running and cutting and at times simulating what the other running backs were doing in practice, all under the supervision of a training and medical staff. Barkley went down early in the second quarter. Okay, we already know that. We get it. We don't need to be reminded. I mean, whenever we read an article, that's all the fluff that they put in there because there's no actual substance on what they're saying about Saquon Barkley and his timetable to return. It's all like, all right, yeah, there's no timetable. And then Saquon Barkley got injured last week 2, September 20th against blah, 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 second game of the season, and he blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we get it. We know. We don't need to keep reminding us. We get it. All right, so that's where we are at with Saquon Barkley, folks. Once again, no real information, but he is finally taken off the PUP list. Like we said, the first baby initial step needed to get this man ready to rock out there in the starting lineup week 1, preseason game, whatever it turns out to be. So, not bad, not great. Could be worse, could be a whole lot of a heck better, but this is all we get. Saquon Barkley off the PUP list, and the leg is very, very close. The Saquads are very, very close to reemerging and running all over the NFL defense. You love to see it. Hoping for a speedy timetable. I want to hear tomorrow. Alrighty. Let's continue on here. Let's talk about Urban Meyer and the Jaguars. We get a couple of quotes here for Urban Meyer. He talks about the rebuild plan that they're in right now, and I also believe he talks about the quarterback battle. Once again, we'll get a clear understanding of all these quarterback battles this week as preseason game number 1s tip off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's see what Urban Meyer is saying here. We're still not sold 100% on Urban Meyer as a head coach, folks. There's some things that he doesn't do that good, and some things that are really kind of, alarming a little bit. The signing of Tim Tebow, him separating his name from that, the circus of the attraction that Tim Tebow just brings, giving Gardner Minshew a lot of reps. I know it sounds weird to say that, I don't like this coach because he's giving this guy starting reps, but it's just like, we all know Trevor Lawrence is going to be starting at some point this season, and why are you kind of taking that away? Urban Meyer, what our opinion is that Urban Meyer just wants to keep Gardner Minshew a little bit happy, even though Urban Meyer knows he's going to be the second string, because we know Gardner Minshew wants to be competing for an actual starting job and would demand a trade if they just came out day one and said Trevor Lawrence is a starter. So there's some things where we get what Urban Meyer's doing. We just don't think it's going to translate well in the NFL. So let's see if he can kind of win us over a little bit here on what he's saying and now in some of these quotes that we get. So here we go. To the untrained eye, Trevor Lawrence looked like he had a few good practices this week. He completed a rocket pass to Marvin Jones Jr. in a tight window. He rolled out and threw on the run. He did it all shaking off a mistake-riddled early week practice to settle in, even when the defense was finally allowed to contest balls. All good signs of incremental progress for a rookie quarterback who is the centerpiece of the Jacksonville Jaguars rebirth. He stopped to toss toy footballs to a Pee-wee team that watched practice even before he was anointed the starter. Urban Meyer has a simpler way to know that Lawrence is making progress. Quote, "What makes Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time is he finds ways to win. Whether he's a Buccaneer or with the New England Patriots, he finds a way to win. I've had quarterbacks like that. They win. I don't know if we're going to tell in a year. He throws a nice ball that makes him one of about 60 to 70 quarterbacks. Does he win games?" So Urban Meyer is talking about winning games, which we were always big upon. We don't like this rebuilding process, even with new first-time head coaches. We still don't really want to see a rebuild because nobody wants to kind of actively lose and actively go into the week thinking they're going to lose. And, that's coming from the fan base and the coaching staff and even the players out on the field. They don't want to ever lose. So Urban Meyer is potentially, what he's saying here is that he's going to go with the starting quarterback that gives them the best chance to win. And if they are winning games, they're going to keep rocking with them. And so far, he kind of sees that in Trevor Lawrence. He's going to try to be able to win games. So we'll see. All right, let's keep going here with the article. If it seems then that this season is a learning one for Lawrence and the Jaguars, Myers is adamant it will not be. The Jaguars won one game last season, but Meyer has been insistent since his arrival that he does not have a long-term rebuild in mind. He wants results quickly. I can get behind that 100%. He wants competition everywhere, and he wants even imported from his college practices a winners and losers game for one-on-one drills that he intimated this week will help determine roster spots. Hopefully it's more competition than just rock, paper, scissors like Nick Sirianni was doing. Hopefully it's better than that. In a classic coaching tap dance, Meyer has not named Lawrence the starter, even though the number one overall draft pick and most highly regarded college quarterback since Andrew Luck was a big reason Meyer took the Jacksonville job. And Meyer will not say what most people throughout the league believe is obvious. The Jaguars will have a good year as long as Lawrence stays healthy and gets a season's worth of experience under his belt. So once again, exactly what we're saying. We don't like that Urban Meyer is kind of playing this dance when we all know it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not knocking Gardner Minshew. We like Gardner Minshew. We think this man is a potential starter on a team, but it's not going to be this team because you just drafted Trevor Lawrence. Like this article just said, the most highly regarded college quarterback since Andrew Luck, folks. I mean, you could not go a day without hearing Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence. The man got out to a hot start. I think he won the national championship year one, and then they started to go down. They weren't really ever able to kind of win it again throughout the rest of his career, but he was still highly regarded as one of the best college quarterbacks to ever do it. So, of course, he's going to play this season. Maybe he doesn't start week one, but what's the latest that he's probably going to start? Like week 4, maybe? So it just doesn't make sense to take away reps from Trevor Lawrence because you need him to get better. This is the learning stage so he can come out week 1 and be competitive and try to win, because Urban Meyer just admitted, hey, we're trying to win right now. This is not a rebuild. We are winning now. We're winning now. So if you want to win week 1, you got to get Trevor Lawrence 100% up to speed and giving Gardner Minshew solid reps because you are kind of putting on this facade. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong. This facade that, Gardner Minshew has a real shot at being the starting quarterback. I think it's just doing the entire team a disservice, and I don't really love it. We know Gardner Minshew's not going to start. We know he's not. It's unfortunate, but we know that to be the case, truly. So let's see what Urban Meyer's saying here. We get a quote. Here we go. No, oh no. If he's not the quarterback we think we can win with, we haven't made that decision. It's not a 4-year plan. It's not fair to these players. It's a 1-year plan. So once again, they're going to go with the quarterback that they think they can win with, but also at the same time, it's Trevor Lawrence, and he's getting the last couple days, he's been getting the most reps out of any other quarterback. We've been seeing that the last 2 days. We've been talking about it and seeing kind of the quarterback breakdown and all that they're reporting on, and Trevor Lawrence is getting kind of 5 to 7 more reps than Gardner Minshew is on a kind of daily basis over the last couple of days. So once again, you're going to give, who you think is the presumptive starter the most starting reps with the ones because they're going to be the starter in your opinion. All right, what else do we get here in this article? A Jaguars practice showcases how many playmakers are on the roster for whoever plays quarterback. Jones, DJ Chark, and Laviska Shenault Jr. can all make highlight reel catches. Rookie Travis Etienne is being moved around the field and is a potential home run hitter. Lawrence will have no shortage of options. Earlier this week, Lawrence told reporters he is much more comfortable than he was during spring practices, and communicating play calls to the team is easier. And he told Brian Schottenheimer, the Jaguars passing game coordinator, that he was no longer thinking about what they were trying to do on offense. He was able to simply react. That was a sign of progress, even though Schottenheimer said Lawrence is not quite to the point where he knows the playbook so well that he does not have to stop and think. Now, let's just kind of quickly say what every other kind of rookie quarterback has been going through, because we really haven't heard a lot of great information out of here from Trevor Lawrence. Folks, we're reading stories every day about how great Justin Fields is. We got another one later in the show, folks, and I can't wait to talk about it. We've been hearing about how great Trey Lance is, and that, he's really kind of, pushing Jimmy G to be the starting quarterback there for the 49ers. We haven't really heard a lot about Zach Wilson, and we really haven't heard a lot about Trevor Lawrence. So it's really interesting. Maybe Urban Meyer is truly having an open quarterback competition here. Only time will tell, but we can't really truly believe what Urban Meyer says, because when we go back to that Tebow thing, him saying that, it wasn't me that was, working out Tebow. It was the coaching staff. They came up to me because Tebow reached out to me, and then I was like, hey, what do you think about Tebow? And they're like, yeah, let's go get him. And then I had no point of contact after that. We kind of know that's got to be a little bogus, at least a little bit. So we really can't trust what Urban Meyer's saying out here. So I truly don't know what to make of this Jaguars team overall, just because of kind of Urban Meyer, truly. All right, what else do we get? Back to the article. Here we go. Still, Schottenheimer compares Lawrence's ability to process information to former Chargers and Colts quarterback Phillip Rivers. They both saw progressions faster than most young quarterbacks, and Schottenheimer believes that is because Lawrence, like Rivers, played a lot of football before arriving in the NFL. Schottenheimer said it is easy to forget what a great athlete Lawrence is. He is 6'6", fantastic. We love that. But in practice, he moves well and threw easily while on the move, and we're going to see that as well. Schottenheimer has no questions about Lawrence's physical ability to make any throw. The challenges are strictly mental. All right, we get another quote here by Brian Schottenheimer, so let's read the lead up here. Meyer has coached dozens of college players who went on to the NFL, and the common thread for all of them is that the game is much faster in the NFL than even at the top colleges. The rush comes faster, the windows close more quickly. Meyer was pleased with how competitive practice was once pads went on and defenders no longer had to shy away from contact. That is what Lawrence is experiencing now. Schottenheimer said Lawrence has so far been terrific at moving the offensive line protections and making the alerts in the running game. Quote, when you're doing these blitz periods, are we getting guys blocked up? He's a young quarterback, so if he's our starter, we expect we'll get a lot of pressure. People are going to test him and blitz him. He sees that stuff really well, so he's able to move and answer problems. Every so often, when there's a free runner, it's, okay, what happened? What did you not see? So once again, just working on Trevor Lawrence. They are expecting him to be the starter. They're expecting team defenses to really pressure him. Hey, you're going to throw a rookie at us? Well, we're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at the man to see how well you were coaching him and how well he was actually performing in those training camp practice periods that you had, a month to do. So we're going to test you. Let's see what he can do. Is he going to recognize all these blitzes? Is he going to recognize a Todd Bowles greatly kind of disguised cornerback blitz? Is he going to be able to recognize that? Because it's coming. We're going to test you. Perhaps most encouraging is that Lawrence's demeanor does not waver much from his cool surfer approach, whether he is completing a pass like the one to Jones that elicited gasps in throwing an interception like those on Monday. Meyer's practices move crisply, with his chief of staff acting as master of ceremonies by directing which positions groups go where and when to take a water break over a loudspeaker. Are we really kind of praising Urban Meyer because they are taking water breaks efficiently? Is that the new bar, the new low bar that we're setting at coaching standards now? Lawrence is part of the business-like operations. He is not demonstrative during practices, not in celebration or in frustration. And another thing, as we're kind of reading this entire article, who are we not talking about? Gardner Minshew. Why is that? Because we all know. We're just acting like it's an open quarterback battle out here, folks. We all know it's going to be T-Law week 1. Quote here by, who is this? DJ Chark. Okay, here we go. Wide receiver for the Jags. Quote, that's the best thing about him. What you see is what you get with him. That's good. You throw a pick, that means you're trying. Once we get on the same page, there won't be many of them. You need composure. You need a quarterback with poise. He has the talent to match it. A lot of times, the emotional players like myself, I get emotional. Sometimes you get too emotional. It takes you out of the game. So for a guy that's the head of everything, that's in charge, you need a guy that can make a mistake and come back and fix it himself. All right, last 2 paragraphs here. We can go through them quickly. Here we go. Meyer calls players who perform well in drills but not in competitive situations, quote, spandex teams. They look good, but they don't win. The Jaguars are still weeks away from a game that counts when they'll be able to show they won't be a spandex team. All right, we'll see. In the meantime, Schottenheimer focuses on something more rudimentary as a measuring stick for Lawrence. Quote, completions. When you know you're crushing on offense, or when you're cruising on offense, is when you go through a Thursday or Friday practice and the ball doesn't touch the ground in a competitive period. That means you're having consistency when you're throwing a lot of completions and the ball is spread around. We're not there yet. So they're still going to kind of, take all these couple of weeks. We're 5 weeks away from the start of the NFL season. So no decisions need to be made and kind of cemented here. But, it does seem like the Jaguars are starting to lean toward Trevor Lawrence. Everyone's speaking highly about him. Obviously, he's not named the starting quarterback yet, so you kind of have to give him that backhanded compliment. Oh my God, he's looking so great out there. DJ Chark, the wide receiver, praising him, how mature he is, and he's not kind of letting kind of the interceptions and the bad plays weigh him down. He makes a bad play, he moves on, he gets right back into the huddle. Urban Meyer saying he's impressive. Brian Schottenheimer saying, he can move very well and, he's making all the right reads and decisions like that. But we're not there yet quite with him. We're not naming him the starter to the backhand of the compliment. So that's where we're at with this Jags team, folks. Urban Meyer not really kind of making a firm decision just quite yet, but it does seem like they are leaning toward Trevor Lawrence. And speaking of leaning toward Trevor Lawrence, we just talked about this amazing throw yesterday on the show. Trevor Lawrence rolling right. It's a speed. Everything's rolling to the left. It's a design misdirection play. So Trevor Lawrence rolls all the way to the right and then flings it about 20 yards down the field, 25 yards down the field. Absolutely perfection. So we saw this throw yesterday on the show, but then we get this new released angle here. We get the angle from the backside. Trevor Lawrence rolling out of the pocket. Look at this tight as hack spiral. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Tight as hack, folks. And then we get the receiver making an absolutely great extended catch going to the ground. So Trevor Lawrence truly just throwing absolute bombs out here, looking absolutely fantastic. Look at this throwing motion by Trevor Lawrence too right here. Folks, what a beautiful angle. Beautiful technique, tight-ass spiral, and like we said, it's complete 25 yards down the field, absolutely wide open, absolutely exactly where it needed to be, and no chance at a pick, no chance at a breakup. It's only the receiver going up and getting the ball, So Trevor Lawrence looking kind of solid out there. We absolutely loved that throw yesterday. And while we're talking about this Jaguars team, we get this Jaguars wide receiver DJ Chark underwent surgery for a hairline fracture in his finger, but head coach Urban Meyer said he still expects Chark to play week 1 versus the Houston Texans. So a little bit of, this is their best wide receiver that they have, folks, DJ Chark. So he definitely needs to be out there in practice to help, Trevor Lawrence out a little bit, but he's going to be sidelined a little bit with this this hairline fracture surgery for his finger that he just underwent a couple of days ago. So they're expecting him to be back week 1. He's got 5 weeks to recover and get back into the starting lineup to help, the Jaguars not be a spandex team and, go out there and actually start winning some games. So we'll see what the Jaguars start doing in these preseason games. Like we said, the quarterback competition is really going to ramp up and get heated. And just in practice, everything's buddy. Oh, I hope you get the job. Oh, I hope you get the starting job. Go out there and do your best. Gardner Minshew and Trevor Lawrence talking to each other. I hope you get the starting job. But once you're out there in preseason games and every throw matters, and if you throw an interception, that's going to be weighed heavily against you. And if you throw a touchdown, that's going to be heavily wait for you, and all that kind of buddy is pretty much going to start going out the window. You can say it and keep a smile on your face, but you are kind of secretly hoping you do a lot better than what they do out on the field, so you're named the starter. And that's what we're going to get, folks. True competition here in these preseason games, and a lot of quarterback battles to go around, and we can't wait to judge and critique and see which quarterbacks are truly in the lead and which quarterbacks are going to go out and win the starting job. So we'll see what the Jaguars do. All right, speaking of quarterbacks, okay, we got a complete 180 on this Deshaun Watson stuff now, because last night it was tweeted out that Texans are not returning calls on Deshaun Watson, believing he will change his mind on trade requests. So we know Deshaun Watson, earlier in the offseason, he said, hey, I want to be out of here. Then all the sexual allegations came out, and then that kind of got put on the back burner because the man's fighting for his freedom and fighting for his image and all that, his reputation. And then he came back out and was like, no, I still want out of here. And then he kind of sat out for a week of training camp practices because of a small little ankle tweak. He was listed as the 4th string, so we were like, what the hell is going on? But now the Texans are not returning any kind of Deshaun Watson trade calls, and we get that Deshaun Watson is at practice today, and he was talking with a general manager, Nick Cassero. We don't know what they were saying. We just have this image of them talking together. But let's quickly take a look at this Texans depth chart, because do they still have him listed as their 4th string quarterback? Because if you have somebody listed as your 4th string quarterback, you don't expect them to play. And now on the ESPN, he is listed as their 1st string quarterback. I don't know if they ever changed that. We just know that that he was listed in terms of what the Texans were saying as their 4th string quarterback. We have seen that. So it's real interesting right there that Deshaun Watson is now back. They're not fielding any more trade calls. Does that mean that they know he's 100% going to be playing this season? Are all these sexual assault allegations going to be kind of, dealt with in a very timely manner in the next couple of days, maybe week and a half, whatever it is? Because, why are the Texans now kind of changing their tune on this? Why is it Deshaun Watson back at kind of training camp? Now, him just being back at training camp doesn't really tell us too much, because when he was actually back at training camp, because the man started at training camp, but he was listed as the 4th string, and he was kind of playing defensive, like a defensive safety position out there during practice time. Then he kind of was out for a week with the ankle tweak, and now he's back out there. But is he still listed as the 4th string in the Texans' mind? Is he only playing kind of defense? That's something that we'll kind of know a little bit more tomorrow, when all the information about the Texans training camp and what happened and what went on kind of, comes out on Twitter and articles and all of that. So we'll keep an eye on Deshaun Watson, but let's go back to DraftKings right here and talk about the week 1 starting quarterbacks, because we may be able to get real great odds because Deshaun Watson coming back, not taking any the organization not taking any phone calls about his trade progress. Maybe they expect him to be the week 1 starter, and we may be able to cash in on DraftKings with our kind of favorite bets of who's going to be taking the first snap for the 2021 season. So let's see what they are listed at here. Here we go. Who will take the Houston Texans' first snap in the 2021-2022 regular season? Tyrod Taylor is the favorite at -500. Davis Mills is at +500. And folks, this is big. I previewed this before the show. Deshaun Watson was still at +900. 900. But he just moved up in the last half hour, folks. In the last half hour, Deshaun Watson went from +900 odds to being the week 1 starter to +550. He's climbing it, folks. That's a huge, to go from +900 to +550, that's huge. So this could be some real great value. Throw $100 on this. You'd win, $550. That's great value right there. So Deshaun Watson really seems like he's going to be a Texan this year, and it seems like he is going to be playing this season, which is great for the Texans because he's their only good piece by a mile on that team. So this is some real great value that is going down. Take it when you can get it. We've already missed the +900. Don't miss out on the +550, folks. So this is real interesting. Tyrod Taylor -500. Davis Mills +500. Then it goes to Deshaun Watson at +550. And then it's Jeff Driscoll +1,000. And Deshaun Watson was at that 4th spot at +900. Jeff Driscoll, I don't know what his odds are. I don't remember. But he was kind of the 3rd. I'd probably say around 500 as well. So just real interesting news and how quick you can kind of lose value and gain value. We always talk about that on the show. But if you're looking for a little bit of a good solid bet right here, I think this is real great value for what the circumstances are currently. Deshaun Watson, he's back at practice. They're not fielding any more phone calls about trading him, and the odds just went down. I think this is a real safe, solid bet to invest a little into. I think it's real solid, folks. So I would bet this, folks. You bet 100 on it. You win 550, you get your 100 back, so you cash out for 650. So pure $550 profit, folks. I think that's real solid value right there. It is starting to kind of turn that Deshaun Watson is going to be the week 1 starter. So get the value while you can. Don't let it slip away from 550 to 250 to 100 to -100 to -500 where Tyrod Taylor is currently. Don't lose the value, folks. And while we're here, is Justin Fields still +400? And Justin Fields is still +400, so there's always that value to kind of fall back on as well, folks, or even double it up. $100 on Justin Fields +400, $100 on Deshaun Watson +550, and you're starting the season with $1,000 in your pocket, baby. That's real gosh dang good. And then you start kind of parlaying that for the rest of the season, building that money up, building that capital up, and then you end the season as millionaires, folks. This is where it starts. $100 on Justin Fields +400, $100 on Deshaun Watson +550, folks. Be on your way to a millionaire in this NFL season. That's what we're looking for, folks. That's what we're going to be trying to do. Turning ourselves into millionaires during this one and only NFL season. We'll see if we can get there. Alrighty. Let's keep going on here, and we're talking about the Saints, folks. It is not a good look for the Saints. Ever since Drew Brees left, it seems like the Saints team is slowly starting to implode. We just talked about Michael Thomas yesterday on the show saying that we're talking about that he ignored the Saints for 3 months because he wanted to get a second medical opinion about his injury, and then we know that turned out to be the wrong decision because he just underwent surgery, and now he's going to be missing the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks of the season, and that's the first 6-7 games of the season that you could potentially be losing because you don't have your quarterback anymore. You don't have your best wide receiver anymore. And now you're just rocking with Alvin Kamara and whoever's going to be the week 1 starting quarterback, Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. The defense isn't looking that good either. So everything is truly starting to fall apart for this team. And then we get this. Saints kicker Will Lutz to be evaluated for a potential core muscle surgery, and he could miss over 8 weeks. Ooh, their starting kicker now is most likely going to be missing most of the season. And they say for position players, that injury takes 8 weeks to come back from. So for a kicker who's really kind of not in the best shape, they don't really work out that much, they're saying it's going to be a lot later than 8 weeks. So that's never good, folks. And we know Will Lutz is their best kicker, their only kicker. He is their only kicker listed on their depth chart. They don't have any second or third string kicker, so I don't even know who's going to be taking his place. But Will Lutz, we know, is a very, very great kicker. One of the kind of the most consistent elite kickers in the league. Just last season, what do we got overall? Field goals. He went 23 for 28, with his longest being 53. Solid. And then for extra points, he only missed one, 57 out of 58. And what's real interesting here is that Will Lutz always missed an extra point every season. Year 1, he made 49 of 50. Year 2, he made 47 of 50. We're talking extra point, folks. Year 3, he made 52 of 53. Year 4, he made 48 of 49. And then just last season, year 5, he made 57 of 58. So why are we always missing one extra point attempt? Are they getting blocked? What's going on there? You just missing it? What's going on? But overall, just real solid. Last season, he hit 1 from 50-plus yards. And he went 7 of 9 from 40 to 49. So decently reliable out there. 10 of 10 from 30 to 39 yards. 5 of 6 from 20 to 29 yards. And then he didn't even attempt any from 0 to 19 yards. They were punching in touchdowns because they got Drew Brees down there. So Will Lutz, a decently reliable kicker. Yeah, pretty solid, folks. I mean, these are from 50-plus. Year 1, 3 of 7. That's not the best. But then year 2, 4 of 5. Year 3, 2 of 3 from 50-plus. Year 4, 3 of 5. And then last season, 1 of 3. So could be a little bit better, but they're not taking that many from 50-plus. So overall, just a real solid kicker out there. And now he's going to be missing a lot of time for the Saints team. So let's go back to this free agent list. Are there any free agent kickers available here? Because we really haven't seen many free agents get signed here. We're still kind of on the mark with Richard Sherman, Le'Veon Bell, what's going on with them. We still don't know about Kenny Stills and Golden Tate and Larry Fitzgerald and Danny Amendola and Alshon Jeffrey. And so we've still got, and Josh Gordon even, and Tyler Eifert and Josh Norman and Vic Beasley. I mean, there's a lot of free agents still out there. And now we're starting to get in kind of the preseason games where hopefully, you know, coaching staffs really are starting to see what they are missing and having these these free agents get signed. But are there any kind of free agent kickers available? Because the Saints are going to be having to get one. Will Lutz out 8+ weeks. And out of the 100 top free agents here, there's no kickers. So this is not great for the Saints, folks. Drew Brees gone. Michael Thomas out for the first couple of weeks. Will Lutz out. Their kicker out for the first couple of weeks. What the heck is going on? And then as we're talking about the Saints all kind of getting flushed down the toilet here, we're getting this. So we just talked about this yesterday. There was a report that came out that said Michael Thomas was ignoring phone calls from the Saints for 3 months because he wanted to get a second medical opinion. And then we heard Sean Payton said it definitely should have happened earlier, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And then we get Michael Thomas today saying, quote, "They tried to damage my reputation. Here it is. They tried to damage your reputation. You saved theirs by not telling your side of the story." So it seems like Michael Thomas and the Saints are beefing. Folks, they're beefing with each other. Michael Thomas is like, hey, I could destroy you if I actually told the entire truth. You're trying to kind of destroy my reputation by leaking, hey, I ignored y'all for 3 months. But if I told the real story, your kind of reputation would be damaged way more than mine. But I'm not going to say that because I'm on your team. You can go out and leak stuff about me, but I'm not going to play this game, baby. I'm not going to play this game. So we're getting kind of Michael Thomas, the best player on the Saints. You could argue Alvin Kamara. I wouldn't necessarily disagree. But we'll just say top 2 players on the Saints team. now doesn't have Drew Brees, you lose your entire, let's just say Michael Thomas, maybe he leaves now. I mean, we're talking about beefs between players and organizations. Aaron Rodgers, the biggest one of the offseason. Xavier Howard, the cornerback from the Dolphins. Now, luckily for their situations, Aaron Rodgers is playing with the Green Bay Packers this season, but he's going to potentially be out as soon as possible. Xavier Howard just signed the contract, and now he's, all sunshines and rainbows with the Dolphins. But maybe this is the new player team beef, Michael Thomas versus the Saints. So it's going to be real interesting how this one plays out. We just said it yesterday on the show. I mean, Michael Thomas needs the Saints to win early on in the season, because if the Saints kind of go, let's just say, what is it? The first 7 weeks they're out before the bye. Let's get their schedule up just really quickly here. I forget, is it week 6 or 7? Because the timetable right now for Michael Thomas is coming back after the bye. That's what's being reported and what everybody's saying. So here we go. Let's get up the Saints schedule real quick. When's their bye? I think it's week 7, so they have 6 games, I believe. Alrighty, here we go. So their bye is week 6, so they missed the first 5 games of the season. So if they go 4-1, that's going to be great, and everything could get swept under the rug. Michael Thomas comes back in. They've got a winning record. Fantastic. If they go 5-0, even better, obviously. But, if they go 1-4, if they go 0-5, that's going to make just the team resent Michael Thomas even more. Be like, man, oh man, we needed you out there, and, you didn't get the surgery, and that overall affects us, and that affects the quarterbacks, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill. I mean, these are kind of tier 2 quarterbacks, and you need kind of A1 tier 1 pieces to help out the tier 2 quarterbacks as much as possible. And now you don't have Michael Thomas, and Emmanuel Sanders left, so there's really no great A1 tier 1 wide receiver on this Saints team to help out the young emerging quarterbacks that are trying to take the spot of one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it in Drew Brees. So they're not going to have that great kind of safety net to just kind of be that great catcher of the football that will go on and catch anything, whether Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill is throwing the ball. So if they start, 0-5, 1-4, the team's just going to resent them, and that's going to make this entire situation even worse, even a whole lot worse. This could all get swept under the rug if they go 5-0. Then Mike Thomas comes back and they start winning games. They go 10-0, and then everybody forgets about this. But only the wins, I think the wins are truly going to dictate how much this gets blown up, how this gets blown out of proportion, what comes out of this, who's going to request a trade. Do they just trade him? Does he request a trade? Does he stop playing? Does he not even show up? So this could be brewing very, very badly for both the Saints and Michael Thomas. Maybe more for the Saints than Michael Thomas, because Michael Thomas can go anywhere. I mean, any team would sign this man in a heartbeat. Nobody's going to shy away and not give this man the money that he truly deserves. So the Saints could be in for a little bit of a trouble here. We kind of talked about it. Maybe they just say, fuck it, we're in a little bit of a soft rebuild. Not even a rebuild, but like I'm blanking on the word, like a pivot, a rebranding. Not even a rebuild, just a little bit of a rebranding. We don't have Drew Brees anymore. We don't have Michael Thomas. We're just going to rebrand around our best player in Alvin Kamara and just go and kind of win like that, which we have been seeing now that they just brought in kind of 3 deep running backs now. And if you have Taysom Hill at the quarterback, you got kind of the dual threat with the run game. So this could be interesting. It could potentially seem like the Saints are pivoting to more of a run-centric offense than a pass-centric, where it's been the last, 15 years with Drew Brees. So we'll see how much of the story gets blown up, folks, but we got one side and the other. There's always 3 sides to the stories, folks. Your side, their side, and the truth. Who's telling the truth here? What does Michael Thomas got? What are the goods? Why did he really not return their calls for 3 months? Were they forcing him into a surgery that he didn't want? We'll see, folks, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Seems like the Saints leaked that story. The way that he said this, they tried to damage your reputation, the Saints, by leaking that story. You saved theirs. Michael Thomas saved their reputation by not telling your side of the story. So maybe some funky stuff was going on. Forcing him to get surgery, something like that he didn't want, pressuring him to get something that he didn't want, and then he ignored him for 3 months. So Real interesting, folks. This is going to be real interesting to watch for Michael Thomas, a fantastic wide receiver in this game, highly regarded as probably top 5, top 3 in the league currently. And geez, man, this is going to get interesting, very, very interesting. And we'll see just how it all plays out. But the man's not with the team. He's not going to be practicing. He's not going to be playing. And just Twitter fingers, folks. We'll see what gets revealed. Alrighty, here we go. This is the Justin Fields play we hinted to earlier in the show, folks. I mean, whoo, sheesh, folks. Oh my God, it's got 1 million views already. This video got 1 million views. Jeez, but here it is. Justin Fields rolling out to the left, kind of flicking his hips and kind of not even setting his feet to throw. And he whips it right in the back end. This is about 20 yards, 30 yards, give it another 10 for the for the entire end zone because it's at the back of the end zone. So about, 20, 30 yards right here. Maybe a little less. Maybe it's only 20, 25, 20. It's in the 20 to 30 yard range right here. But it's Justin Fields rolling out to the left, throwing on the run, flicking his hips, and then getting it right down to the ground exactly where the ball needed to be because this is real good coverage by the defender right here. But it's even better offense by Justin Fields, and I don't know who this receiver is. Do we have who the receiver is? Riley Ridley. To kind of extend the play, Justin Fields keeping his eyes downfield, Riley Ridley looking back at the quarterback, going the way that needs to be made to free Riley Ridley to make him open, and it's just greatness right here. This is absolutely great right here. Throw, catch, extending the play, recognition, athleticism of getting the ball thrown in kind of the manner that he did. A sidearm pass, throwing on the run, not having your feet set, with pressure coming at you. It didn't get there yet. The pressure was still about 5 yards away, but the pressure showed itself in Justin Fields having to hurry up a little bit, keeping his eyes down the field, not just kind of immediately taking off and running, because he may have been able to beat this defender to the edge. Maybe it would have been a close foot race, but Justin Fields said, no, I'm throwing this ball and I'm getting the touchdown. And then just the ball placement. Look at this. Way low in a way where only the wide receiver can get it, literally at the very, very back of the end zone. No more space. Look at, folks, he's literally basically touching the end line right there, and his body, he's right there. It's complete. It's great. It's no chance that this is being incomplete because he's out of bounds, but it's super close to the end boundary line. That is just absolute pure perfection on everything. The movement, the throw, the recognition, the escapability, the finesse, the athleticism, the look, the communication, because Riley Ridley looking back at Justin Fields being like, well, the play is kind of broken up. This isn't open. All right, now I got a show open for my quarterback that's rolling toward my way. Well, let me go a little bit, step inside, low and away, and it's a touchdown. So, man, oh man, Justin Fields is really impressing us. And this is what we're saying. We're not getting these throws by Trevor Lawrence. We did look at a throw, and it's still good. But we've seen a lot more by Justin Fields. We've been hearing a lot more by Trey Lance. So all these rookies, it just appears that Justin Fields may be the best rookie out of this draft class right out of the gate. Longevity, who knows? But right now, it seems like Justin Fields may have a slight step over Trevor Lawrence, a slight step. And one was the first overall pick, and one was, what did Justin Fields fall? 13th? 10th? I want to bring it up quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Was it 10th, 12th? When did he fall? He went 11th. So, I mean, one went number 1 overall and one went 11th, and we're seeing a lot more from the guy that went 11th overall. So, Justin Fields, week 1 starter, folks. How many things more do you need to see? We've still got 5 weeks. You're telling me this man's not going to overtake the job in 5 weeks? Come on. He's looking magnificent out here, folks. You're not telling me that Andy Dalton can do the same thing. I don't think so. I don't think Andy Dalton can do this. Sheesh, folks, it's fantastic. It's so gosh dang good. If you're just listening to this, you have to watch this play, folks. Everything that we talk about, it's always in our like section of our tweets. So if you go to our profile and you just want to watch a video that we've been talking about or just reread an article that we've been talking about, they're always in our like section. So go to our profile on Twitter, go to our like tweets, and they're all right there, and you'll see it, folks. I mean, this throw is just absolutely magnificent. Like a Patrick Mahomes-esque throw, folks. This is no joke. This is what Patrick Mahomes does. And Justin Fields is doing it. Come on. You're not I can't get over these odds. I don't agree with the odds, folks, and I can't believe the value that we're getting. I can't believe it. I can't. I love it, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Because Jameis Winston to be the week 1 starter, it's minus 150. Mac Jones to be the week 1 starter, it's plus 250. Ryan Fitzpatrick to be the week 1 starter, it's minus 900. Trey Lance to be the week 1 starter. Trey Lance to be the week 1 starter. That we just heard Kyle Shanahan say he's going to play, but it's going to be all kind of situational in that Jimmy G is our starting guy. Trey Lance to start is plus 300. Justin Fields is at plus 400. What? Truly? Why? Show me why, because nothing is adding up here. These numbers are not making any sense to us. And we've been tracking this for 3 months. 3 months, folks. We've been tracking this. Jeez. What the hell? If Vegas is giving us free money, we're not going to shy away. We took this. We took it at plus 300. Fools on us. Clowns. Because we wanted to secure the value. But the value just got worse. Better in terms of winning more money. But jeez. He's the week 1 starter. How are you going to watch his play and not say so? I don't even know anymore, folks. I'm trying to give y'all free money. This video right here is free money. This video right here proves it all. He's the week 1 starter. Jeez. It's so great, folks. Justin Fields, man. I messed up with these canvases. We got to get a Justin Fields canvas on the wall ASAP. Screw the tight end flag. It's got to be Justin Fields' face up here. This whole show now is just Justin Fields fan account. We will only be talking about Justin Fields for the rest of our career. Justin Fields is so gosh dang good. Week 1 starter. How do you not see it? Am I crazy, folks? Tell me if I'm crazy. Am I just overblowing everything about this man? Because I don't think I am. Woo! This man's getting me fired up, baby. Love it. This man's got to be the week 1 starter! Folks, I'm just watching this throw over and over and over and over again. How is he not the week 1 starter? I don't get it. I don't get it, folks. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. It's absolute perfection. Jeez. Week 1 starter plus 400 odds, folks. Somebody's wrong. It's either me or Vegas. I don't think I'm wrong. I'm calling Vegas wrong. We've caught them slipping last season. We were able to get some great value last season, and I think this is one of the great values of this season, folks. We're going to watch this for the next half hour, so buckle up, folks. Buckle up. Buckle up. This is it for the rest of the show. Just watching this absolute amazing play. Sheesh, folks. Sheesh. I love it. I absolutely love it. We got to move on because I'm about to go manic. I don't get it. All right. Let's keep going here. A couple more stories to go over. Here we go. Patriots tight end, their newly acquired tight end, Hunter Henry, not great. He just injured his shoulder in Sunday's practice and is having an MRI today. So we'll know more about this Hunter Henry situation. Like we said, I mean, we were decently big on these Patriots pieces. We just did their season refresher. They still got Jonnu Smith, but having 2 tight ends deep definitely helps the Patriots, and the Patriots are kind of used to 2 deep tight ends having Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, and they were kind of balling out with both of those 2. So I think that's kind of what they were going for by bringing in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. But Hunter Henry is looking to have a little bit of a shoulder injury, and we'll see how long he is out for. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully he's there week 1. And they're definitely going to need him because Cam Newton needs every single good piece, quality piece out there for him to even try to be good. So we'll see how this all turns out. But Hunter Henry's having an MRI, and we'll await to the results and how long he's going to be out for. Alrighty, here we go. This time talking about Marcus Mariota, the Raiders quarterback. Marcus Mariota is, quote, absolutely, says he monitor, or not saying, but this is kind of what they're saying. Marcus Mariota absolutely monitors quarterback landscape for a potential starting opportunity. Now, we did like what we saw, really kind of small sample size from last season where he had to step in for Derek Carr. Was it even for a full game? I don't even think it was for a full game. Like half a game, a third of a game, three-fourths of a game, something like that. But we did like what we saw from him in there. But is it just a little bit too late? Because I don't think there's any more open quarterback spots here. Now that Deshaun Watson's pretty much 100% back, it's like, is there any other team? So let's just quickly go over every single team, what their starting quarterback situation is like, to see if Marcus Mariota could still potentially get a starting job this year. I don't think so. But let's quickly look. Seattle, no. Rams, no. Cardinals, no. 49ers, no. They got 2 to battle between. They don't need a third coming in to kind of ruin their mix there. The Saints, it seemed, I mean, he could still potentially go to the Saints, but I would probably imagine that Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston are going to rise to the occasion and kind of be a real solid quarterback in this league, starting quarterback in this league. So can't really go to the Saints, and you'd be behind the 8 ball there anyway. If you just went there, it's like, yeah, we're probably not going to choose you anyway. You know, yeah, you're here, but it's like you're already kind of 3-4 weeks behind if you account, you know, mini camps and OTAs and everything like that. You're already weeks behind, so it's like you can't even catch up for the job. The Bucks, no. The Panthers, potentially, because we just heard Matt Rule wanting to go out and get Deshaun Watson because it may not be that great with Sam Darnold. So he could still go to the Panthers, and I still think that's a real solid option for him, because I don't see Marcus Mariota upsetting Derek Carr for the starting job, but I do believe he could kind of challenge Sam Darnold for the starting job at some point, because we don't believe in that man at all. Falcons, they're rocking with Matt Ryan. Washington, it really seems like they are 100% sold on Ryan Fitzpatrick, but honestly, given a head-to-head matchup, I take Marcus Mariota over Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've got no problems with that, honestly. The Giants got Daniel Jones. The Cowboys got Dak Prescott. The Eagles, I mean, it should be Jalen Hurts. They're not just coming out and saying it, but Marcus Mariota could definitely be a solid number 2 here. It shouldn't be Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco should be out of the league. I'm so sick of that, man, honestly. But I don't see Marcus Mariota beating out Jalen Hurts for the starting job. The Packers, they got Aaron Rodgers, bringing him in, but bring in Marcus Mariota to maybe get him up to speed if Jordan Love's not kind of filling out as good as they hope he would. So that'd be interesting. The Bears, don't ever bring up the Bears to me as a starting quarterback. What are you, nuts? It's Justin Fields. The Vikings, yeah, get Marcus. I'm done with Kirk Cousins. I'm done with the man. I'm over him. Bring in Marcus Mariota. Yes, I've got no problem with that. The Lions, Jared Goff over Marcus Mariota. I don't know what I'm thinking about Jared Goff. This is really going to be the year where we can get a true opinion about Jared Goff, where you have to go and really elevate your own level of play, because the team overall is just absolutely trash and the organization is just trash. So this is really going to be a great determining factor of what Jared Goff can truly do in this league. The Titans, they got Ryan Tannehill. The Colts got, the Colts, right? But there's no cause for concern. There's no kind of, why you have to go out and panic if you're this Colts team. It's going to be maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks. I don't see it any more than Carson Wentz being out 3 full weeks. And we like Jacob Eason to kind of fill in those first couple of weeks and just be the game manager. So don't go to the Colts. You cannot upset Carson Wentz. It's not that he's fragile or anything like that, but it's just his history, and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. It builds, it builds, it builds, it builds. He was just pushed to his point. This Marcus Mariota, if you bring in just any other quarterback, whether it's Nick Foles, Marcus Mariota, anybody else, Deshaun Watson, whoever it is, you're just kind of starting to build up those distrust bricks. The first one was, the statue of Nick Foles. That was the first one. And then the drafting of Jalen Hurts. That was the second one. And then the starting of Jalen Hurts. That was the one that really kind of put it over the edge and said, hey, I'm out of here now. So you don't want to start building the bricks here with Carson Wentz. Just leave him alone. He'll be fine. Maybe. Hopefully. Maybe not. We don't know. But if you're going to rock with him, you really have to commit 1,000,000% to him. And I know it's hard to do because of the injury history, but if you're going to take that risk, you've got to kind of know exactly what you're in for. So do not bring anybody else to this Colts team. The Texans, well, we just kind of know that Deshaun Watson is kind of the guy now. The Jags, obviously, they've got Gardner Minshew and Trevor Lawrence. The Bills, they just paid that man. They paid that man $250 million, something along those lines. Jeez Louise, the man got paid. The Dolphins, it's Tua, baby. The Patriots, oh, yes, please. I think I love it, folks. Marcus Mariota to the Patriots. I like Marcus Mariota better than Cam Newton. I'm over it. I'm over Cam Newton. I'm ready to say this. I will say this. I will stand by this. I like Marcus Mariota better than Cam Newton. I've got no problem with that. And I don't even like Mac Jones. So, yeah, Marcus Mariota, go to the Patriots. Be the starting quarterback there. I love that. I love that, folks. I truly love that. That's the best spot for him. The Jets, they got Zach Wilson. The Steelers, they got Big Ben for this year. Next year, potentially. Ravens, they got Lamar Jackson. Browns, they got Baker Mayfield. Bengals, they got Joey B. Chiefs, they got Patty Mahomes. Raiders, they got Derek Carr, and that's where he is currently. Chargers, they got Justin Herbert. In the Broncos, I don't know if I like Marcus Mariota better than I like Teddy Bridgewater. That's going to be, proven this season on how well Teddy Bridgewater does. But once again, they've got kind of two on their own, and Marcus Mariota probably wouldn't be able to beat them out of that spot at this point when they've already got practice on practice on practice under their belt. So really the only potential spot for Marcus Mariota would be the New England Patriots. But we've been hearing from Bill Belichick that, Cam's the starter, so we don't really know his true feelings on the man. But I'll tell you our true feelings on Cam Newton. He's trash. I'm sorry. It's unfortunate, but the man is trash. He's done. He's over. It's over for his league. He got to a Super Bowl. He won an MVP. That's a solid career in the NFL. Unfortunately, it's up. You're over, you're done, and it's not going to get any better. So Marcus Mariota to the Patriots is really the only spot if he wanted to be a starter somewhere this year. All right, we get a little update on the Saints quarterback battle. It's just a little rumor that it is neck and neck heading into preseason. So nobody really has kind of the front foot forward, and it's really going to come down to these preseason games. So like we said earlier in the show, cannot wait to watch all the quarterback battles this preseason, and we'll be watching and critiquing live, and when we do it on the show and watching it and watching the games and all the plays and seeing which quarterback truly should be them and if the teams are making the right decision. So seems like it's neck and neck with the Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. Alrighty. Well, we know the Bucs' plans here for preseason. Head coach Bruce Arians said, quote, everybody will play in Saturday's preseason opener against Cincinnati, including Tom Brady. He says, quote, could be a drive or two for Tom. So everyone's kind of going to get their feet under the feet underneath them in preseason. We got to remember, there used to be 4 preseason games. Now there's only 3. So you kind of take the first one out. Yeah, starters start to play 1, maybe 2 series in the second preseason game, a couple 2, 3 in the third preseason game, maybe the first half in the fourth one. That's always kind of, up in the air. What do you do? But this is kind of the second preseason game, even though it is the first. So Tom Brady and all the starters are all going to play maybe 1, maybe 2 starting drives. So Tom Brady, we'll get a kind of how he's looking. We've been hearing big things about Tom, himself, everybody else, him coming off of surgery, saying this is the best he's ever felt. So we'll truly see how he's looking out there. All right, then we get this. The Falcons do end up signing running back D'Onta Foreman. Remember, we talked about this last week where they brought him in for a visit, and now the deal ended up getting done, which is like, what the hell is going on? We didn't really love this. This was the man. This was the best play when we were watching the highlights. He runs for about 35 yards to the end zone, but he ends up injuring himself while he scores. Unfortunate. This is the best play he's ever had. He rushed for -1 yards in a season with 7 rushes. That guy. So we didn't really love this. especially because the Falcons don't have that running back. They got Mike Davis, Cordell Patterson, and now Deontay Foreman. But we're like, what is going on with Le'Veon Bell? So the Falcons do end up signing this man, and we'll see how well he does. But ex-Titan, he's got Arthur Smith as a head coach. It's like, okay. When did he play for the Titans? Was Arthur Smith there? No, he was. Oh, yeah, he was, 2020. So little history, little know of him. And we'll see if he can bring out the best, but I just don't like the running backs of the Falcons, folks. That's it. Everything else I love. Kyle Pitts, jeez, folks. Do you see the flag behind his tight end university? We love Kyle Pitts. Calvin Ridley, folks. We've got no problem with him being the number one. Y'all know that. So we love everything about this Falcons offense besides the running back, and I just don't think they're making the right decisions. But that's just me, and we'll see how it works out in preseason. All right, the last story to talk about, talking about tight ends, folks. Travis Kelce getting actual burn here in preseason and some snaps right here in or I'll play in training camp. I mean, folks, look at this separation. It's just one-on-one. I believe he's with a corner right here. Corners on him, lined up on the line. First 5 yards tough, and then he just breaks away. Look at that great separation. That's like a full half a step. That's wide open in this league. And you know what's dangerous about Travis Kelce being great is that tight end university, he was the one that put this together. So now all the tight ends know this move. So all of these tight ends should be as great as Travis Kelce is this season because they just learned and worked with the GOATs, George Kittle and Travis Kelce. So Travis Kelce able to get separation about 5-10 yards down the field, and man, oh man, that's we all know how great Travis Kelce is. 1,400, yes, I said 1,400 yards last season for a tight end. How absolutely crazy! And this is how he does it, able to get that great separation off of the defenders. So watch out for the tight ends this year, folks. I'm telling you, if you play fantasy, draft a tight end for literally every single spot. I do not care. Tight end, running, or quarterback, tight end, wide receiver. You fill a tight end for all of those spots. You hear? Because this is what we're looking at right here, folks. Absolute great separation, and they all know how to do this now. So watch out. Watch out. Alrighty, those are all the stories that we needed to cover for today, so let's head over to our NFL team refresher. We have this working list where we order them, and we also have their record. We just did the Patriots yesterday, and we had them going 8-9, and we dropped them right under the Falcons and right above the Broncos. And I may move them under the Broncos. I'm gonna move them under the Broncos. I had a day to sleep on it, and I just can't buy the Patriots offense. I just can't, folks. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm truly trying. I just can't anymore. So we'll drop the Patriots one more notch right here. So let's spin the wheel. See what team we're going to be talking about today, seeing what they did last season, who they picked up this offseason, who they lost this offseason, who they drafted, and then once we have all that information, we go and walk through their schedule to see how many wins we can give them, and then we'll place them on this list and to kind of see where they kind of rank with all the other teams that we've already talked about. So, without further ado, let's get this wheel mother-loving spun, folks. Here we go. Wheel is spinning. Oh, great spin right there. Wheel is slowing down, and the team we're going to be talking about today is... Oh, I love it. The Cleveland Browns, folks. All righty. Well, first thing to talk about is Baker Mayfield. Do we believe in Baker Mayfield? Let's get his stats up. We do, but let's double check the stats really quickly since it is the team refresher. So let's make sure all of our numbers and all of our thinkings and all of our narratives are kind of true here. So we classify Baker Mayfield as a above average game manager. There's kind of, how we kind of rank quarterbacks. We got A1 tier ones. That's kind of the best of the best. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. I may even put Josh Allen on that list. We'll see what he does this year. The Russell Wilsons, just kind of, they can go out and win the Super Bowl basically on their back. They can kind of take the team and win the Super Bowl no problem by themselves. That's the A1 tier ones. Then we have A1 quarterbacks, which is, basically, who do we put? Probably Josh Allen is in that category right now. Lamar Jackson potentially in that category. Ben Roethlisberger in that category. Quarterbacks that are very, very great. Can they win the Super Bowl? yeah, real solid chance, but, deep playoff run is kind of, standard in every single year. Getting to the Super Bowl eludes them a little bit, and, that's tier 1. Then we have, tier 2 quarterbacks. No, then we have above average game manager. I put above average game manager above tier 2. So above average game manager, these are great, these are really, really good quarterbacks, but they need a little extra. They need like a great defense to help them out. They need great weapons to help them out, a great running game to help them out. That's Ryan Tannehill. That's Baker Mayfield. That's Kirk Cousins a little bit as well. I'm just starting to put Kirk Cousins in that category. We'll see if that narrative kind of fits and all that kind of this season. But this is a great place to be in. I mean, I've got no problem. This is not a knock calling them above average game managers. I mean, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, they're just they're the greatest they kind of ever do it, honestly. And they're, one of them still young. But Baker Mayfield, real great last season. And that's where he needs to be. I mean, this offense is loaded. I mean, they've got pieces everywhere. Their running back committee is absolutely fantastic. They've got the wide receivers. Their defense is real great. And then they've got the coach that kind of knows what Baker Mayfield is good at and calls the plays where he is going to have success in those plays. He kind of formulates the offense around Baker Mayfield's skill set, and that proves to work because they just got to the second round of the playoffs, won a playoff game last season, and almost beat the Chiefs. Real close game right there. So it works, and they're going to build upon that this season. So let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Here we go. Going into his 4th season, went 11-5 last year. He's at 62% completion percentage. We do want to see that up a little bit more. We do kind of want to see like 65 because we just talked about it. The narrative of last season was kind of very high inflated completion percentage. We had very, very many people. It was like 5 to 7 quarterbacks with like 68 to 70% completion percentage, which is it's excellent. So Baker Mayfield has to be a little bit more accurate out here. He has 3,500 yards, and that's basically these game above average game manager quarterbacks. You don't expect them to go out and throw 4,500, 5,000 yards. It's high 3,000s, 38, 39, maybe 4,000, 41, maybe 4,200, but you let your running game, you let your other kind of weapons build those yards and get those points. It's not just the quarterback doing it by himself. The touchdown to interception ratio is absolutely fantastic on Baker Mayfield. 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and that's what we loved. I mean, just last season was his best interception season ever, folks. Year 1, 14 picks. Year 2, 21 picks. That's absolutely trash. And then just last season, only 8 because Kevin Stefanski, the new head coach for this Browns team, knows how to cater and tailor the offense to Baker Mayfield. It led to 11 wins, folks. That's fantastic. When was the last time the Browns had 11 wins, folks? Let's get that up quickly. I don't think they ever had 11 wins, ever, in their franchise history. The last time they had 11 wins was 1994, folks. The last time before that, it was 1980. The last time before that was 1965. The last time before that was 1953. They actually got a good start. Wow, look at this. Their first couple seasons in 1946, 12-2. 1947, 12-1. 1948, 14-0. Ooh, fantastic. But folks, they literally have like 3 11 or plus win seasons in the last 50 years. Folks, that's crazy talk. So of course Baker Mayfield can get it done. We've seen it. All right, Kevin Stefanski is also he's going into his second year. That was year 1 with Kevin Stefanski, folks. 11-5. Great tailor of the offense. I mean, geez Louise, expect, sky's the limit here, year 2, just building upon that. So, absolutely love that by Baker Mayfield. He also, let's see is he a true dual threat quarterback? How many yards does he go for? Let's see his rushing stats. Let's see. Okay, he is not a true dual threat. Only 165 last season. That was the most he's ever rushed for in a year. Basically averaging about 130 yards a season rushing, which is still good. He does fumble a lot, though, and that's another cause for concern. He didn't throw a lot of picks last year, but the fumbles was truly noted. He had 8 fumbles last season, the most he's ever had. So we do need to see the rushes come down a little bit if he's going to continue on fumbling, but maybe that's what Kevin Stefanski was working on this offseason, because you got Baker Mayfield all the way up from 6 to 11 wins last season, just being that kind of game managing quarterback out there. So now this season they can kind of work on ball security and the running game a little bit more now that they have that solid, great foundation under them. So Baker Mayfield and the Browns, I am a believer in Baker Mayfield. I'm a huge believer in Kevin Stefanski. I loved what he did with this team last year. So for all of that, we can buy into this team decently big just from the head coach quarterback standpoint. We love it. All right, let's talk about what they did last season. Were they beating the good teams? Were they beating the bad teams? And they couldn't beat the good teams? Was Baker Mayfield floundering against the good teams? So let's quickly take a look at their games and what they did last season. So here we go. They open up against the Ravens and get absolutely blown out, losing 38-6. Gee, sheesh. But once again, that's the first game with your new head coach. Of course, they're going to get off to a little bit of a bumpy, rocky start. So they lose that against the Ravens. Then they go and beat the Bengals 35-30. They beat Washington 34-20. They beat the Cowboys 49-38, and then they go out and beat the Colts 32-23. So the Cowboys win is a solid win. That was when Dak Prescott was playing. Dak Prescott played this game, so that's real good. That's a real good competition to go against. This isn't kind of Andy Dalton Cowboys where they're not the great, but Dak Prescott threw for 500 yards. Jeez, oh my gosh. Baker Mayfield only threw for 165, 2 touchdowns. But once again, was it all the running backs? What do we got? Nick Chubb rushed for 43 yards, and then Kareem Hunt ran for 71 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, once again, just that overall team arch. It's not Baker Mayfield going out there and doing it himself. That above-average game manager. Solid completion percentage, solid touchdown to interception ratio, solid yards, but everybody else really kind of making it work in totality. So, I mean, just once again, I mean, you can beat Dak Prescott and throw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns and only 1 pick and still lose to above-average game managers. That's why we don't knock them. That's why, Ryan Tannehill just got to an AFC Championship game. And we'll see if he can get back there because he did kind of, flounder a little bit in playoff game number 1. They lose. So we've got no problem with the above-average game manager quarterbacks, folks. They do work in this league. All right, what else do we get? So they go on a nice little 4-game winning streak. Then they lose to the Steelers. Once again, getting blown out here. So when they lose big. They lost 38-6 about the Ravens, and they lost 38-7 against this Steelers team. That's bad. Then they go out and beat the Bengals, but once again, not a great team. They only win by 3, 37-34. They lose against the Raiders, 16-6. Once again, that offense sputters sometimes. 6 points. What the hell is going on with that? And another reason why, above average quarterbacks, that's kind of their downfall. Sometimes you're a little lackluster offensively because, if the running game isn't going and, everything like that isn't getting going and, your quarterback can't do it himself, overall, nothing can happen. So you really need everybody to work, and that's what makes these teams work. The Browns, the Titans. That's why they can have some good, decent win totals. All right, but then they go on another great winning streak, beating the Texans 10-7. They beat the Eagles 22-17. They beat the Jags 27-25. I mean, folks, when I'm going through this list, this is not impressive. This is a little bit worse than I really thought. I wasn't really kind of prepared for it to be this bad. I mean, they're beating bad teams. I mean, yeah, they beat the Cowboys. That's a good win. Washington's an all right win just because of their defense, but it's Dwayne Haskins at the quarterback position real early on. We got the Colts. That's a good win. That's a good win. That's probably the best win so far. That Colts team, that's a good offense, good defense. It's Phillip Rivers, though. Once again, not the greatest quarterback with an overall good team. And then you're beating the Texans barely. You're beating the Eagles barely. You're beating the Jags barely. I mean, we're talking about 2-3 point wins here, folks. It's a little concerning. Then you go out and beat the Titans 41-35. That's another real great win right there. Once again, give up a lot of good points, though. This defense, we're going to have to see where they're what their overall defense ranking is compared to everybody else last season. We're going to take a look at that next after we're done going through their schedule last year. Then they go out and the Ravens again, and once again lose again against the Ravens. Had a little bit of a better showing, lost 47-42, but still can't beat that Ravens team in their division just quite yet. They go out and beat the Giants 20-6. They lose against the Jets 23-16. What the hell is that about? Why are you losing against the Jets? And then they beat the Steelers in the last week of the season. So overall, their regular season really kind of inflated right here. So maybe we're giving them a little bit too much credit, because if they have a tough schedule this year, I don't know if we can give them that many wins. But let's, build our full potty here before we get to that schedule. So that's a little concerning. They didn't really beat anybody. They had 2 good wins. I'm going to call it 2 good wins last season. The Titans and the Colts. Maybe I give them the Cowboys. 3 good wins max out of 11. Ooh, that's not great. Then they get into the playoffs. They beat the Steelers 48-37. Once again, giving up a lot of points defensively. Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 263 yards, 21 of 37. And then he gets into the second round against the Chiefs. They lose 22-17, and I believe they went on a game-winning drive, and I believe Baker Mayfield fumbled. Can I look at the box score here? Can we look at that? We may have to find it a different way. May have to go to this. And of course, there it is. Our Wi-Fi is acting up. Folks, I truly apologize on that. So let's go to our phone here and see if we can just bring it up, as the show must go on. No, folks? So let's go like this. Because I'm pretty sure Baker Mayfield fumbled on that game potential tying, winning drive at the end of the game. So let's see if I can bring this up very quickly here. Here we go. Scores. We'll go like this. It's coming up, folks. Don't worry. We're getting there. Don't count us out yet. Don't click off the video just quite yet, folks. We're here. All right. Divisional playoff. Chiefs-Browns. Took place January 17th, folks. Last year. This year. All right, here we go. Can we do the drive-by-drive breakdown? Yes, here we go. Okay. They had a punt. All right, so they didn't. So they had a punt. They got the ball back with 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left, and they are down 22-17. They pick off it wasn't Patrick Mahomes because he got injured. They pick off Chad Henne, and now they are on a potential drive with 8 minutes left to go. But they go and kind of get stuffed. What happened here? They get a 2-yard pass, and that's it. They're at 3rd and 11 with a 2-yard pass, and then it brings up 4th and 9, and then they punt, and then they never got the ball back for the remainder 4 minutes because they just could not force the Chiefs off the field. So unfortunate there. Did he fumble in this game? I thought he fumbled. He threw a pick. He fumbled. Did he fumble? Somebody fumbled. Who fumbled? Baker Mayfield, incomplete. Or no, that's not it. Here we go. Baker Mayfield, pass deep, and then Rashad Higgins fumbles. Unfortunate. He did something where he did like QB sneak, and he fumbled the ball, but he got it back, and I think that happened on this last drive. Let me look a little bit deeper here. Anybody fumble, but they get it back? Okay. Maybe my memory is not right in that one. I do kind of want to go back to this game, though. What's up with this game? We got the internet back. Are we back? Not quite back yet. Okay. So let's go to... Oh, this isn't loading now either. How unfortunate. All right, so now let's go to what they did compared offensively and defensively, where they were ranking. We did see them give up a lot of points defensively, so I'm sure their defensive ranking is really not that great. So let's get up where they ranked offensively and defensively. Alrighty. Team offense. All right, here we go. The Browns ranked. Where are they at offensively? They ranked 14th offensively already. They put up 408 points, and we know the average was 396, so basically right on the average. Nothing too greater than the average right there. Now let's look at their passing and rushing stats, where they compared. So here we go. They put up a total of 5,900 yards, and the average was 57. So a little above the average, 200 yards above the average right there. All right, let's see their passing yards. Was it below or above average? You're at 3,500 passing yards, and the average was 3,800. So once again, above average game manager quarterback, not with that kind of average-ish yards right there. Classic, relying on kind of the run game to get it done. Now I'm sure this run attack was kind of real great, just compared to the average. So here we go. The Browns rushed for 2,300 yards, and the average was 1,900. So once again, relying on that rushing game to help out the passing game a little bit. Let's see where they ranked. I mean, they rushed for 2,300 yards. The Titans rushed for 2,600. That's number one. The Cardinals rushed for 2,200. Anybody else rushed for 2,300? So the Browns, I think the Browns were number 3 because the Ravens had 3,000. So the Browns were actually number 3 in rushing yards. So once again, relying on Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, Thunder, Lightning, real great rushing attack. Another reason why we can buy this Browns team heavily this season. All right, now let's see where they ranked on defense. Let's bring that up. We really need these web pages to start opening them up because I know how to find. Oh, okay. Here we go. Are we back? Defensive stats, please be back. Please be back. And it doesn't look like it's going to be back. How unfortunate. All right, so let's see how I bring up defensive stats up here. Oh, here we go. Bingo. Fantastic. Thank you, Internet, for coming right back on right in time. All right, so here we go. Oh, now that crap's out. We had it up for a second. We had it. We had a glimpse. All right. Back to the phone. Defense. Here we go. Team defensive stats. Where can we find that at? Team offense. Where the heck is the team defense, folks? Where is that at? We know it's there. We find it all the time in the regular version. Unfortunately, we don't got that. Alrighty, folks. Team defense. Here we go. We found it. All right. We're back. All right, here we go. The Browns team defense ranked. I'm just going to start from the bottom and scroll all the way up. 21. Not bad. Not good, obviously, but not terrible. Bottom 20. Could be better. All right, they gave up 419 points. The average was 396. They gave up 5,700 yards. The average was 5,700, so right on average. The Browns, let's see how many passing yards they gave up. They gave up 3,900 passing yards. The average was 38. And then they gave up 1,700 rushing yards, and the average was 1,900. So they're basically just an average defense, folks. A real big old average defense. So nothing great, nothing bad. We're going to have to see big upgrades on their defensive end of the ball here when we look at, who they got and, who they let go and all that. So now let's go to their off-season gets here. Or actually, I do want to bring up Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I do want to bring up those because those are big pieces here that we are big into along with Baker Mayfield. So let's remind y'all what they did last season. Can we bring them up? Is that going to load? Might have to just do it on our phone. Unfortunate that you guys can't see that, but I do relay the information. So let's look at Nick Chubb and then Kareem Hunt. All right, Nick Chubb's career stats. Last season, third season in the league, going into his fourth, he rushed for 1,000 yards. He only played in 12 games, folks. He started 12 games and put up 1,000 yards. How many yards a game was he averaging? He was averaging 88 yards a game. So if we give 4 times 88, we'll do that math. 88 times 4, that's another 352 yards for a grand total of 1,400 yards, which he did in 2019. He rushed for 1,400 yards as well. So this man is a 1,400 yard a season rusher. Fantastic. He also rushed for 12 touchdowns. Is he a good catcher of the football in the backfield? Solid. He put up 150 yards. So that's solid work right there. It's not, a dual threat. It's not, Kareem. It's not Christian McCaffrey. It's not Alvin Kamara. It's, solid. It's what you expect from a solid running back out there. And now let's bring up Kareem Hunt because they both had 1,000 yard seasons last season. You got, they call themselves Thunder and Lightning. Lightning is Kareem Hunt because the man's fast, and then Nick Chubb is, the beefy, between the trenches, get it done. So he didn't rush for 1,000 yards. I thought he did. Right on the doorstep, 841 yards. He had 300 yards receiving for a grand total to put him at 1,100 yards from scrimmage. So that's what we were thinking right there. But overall, we can definitely get behind that. And now we're going to load up here on the webpage. Fantastic. But Kareem Hunt has 6 rushing touchdowns. He had 5 receiving touchdowns, 11 touchdowns in total. But this is like what we're talking about, folks. Absolute great backfield here for this Browns team. Absolutely getting it done right here. So we are good on Baker Mayfield. We've got really, we do need to see the fumbles come down and the completion percentage to come up a little bit, but the rushing game is absolutely fantastic. And now we got year 2 with Kevin Stefanski. We're sure everything is going to be taken care of. So we're good with the offense, truly. Now let's see what they did in the offseason. Who they get, who do they lose, and then we'll look at their draft, and then we'll look at their offensive line, and then we'll go through and walk through their schedule. So here we go. The Browns, they pick up Jadeveon Clowney, an edge rusher. So now you got Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. And what wins in this league, folks? Pressuring the quarterback. What just happened in the Super Bowl? Patrick Mahomes running for his life. They put up like 9 points that game, folks. Absolutely very, very not characteristic of that Chiefs offense. So they get another edge rusher. They get John Johnson, the third, a safety. They re-sign Rashad Higgins, which is great. He's fantastic. We are big on Rashad Higgins as well. The big old 6'4" wide receiver, folks. Or no, that's T. Higgins. I'm sorry. Rashad Higgins. What is he looking like? The Higgins brothers. I don't know if they're real brothers or not. He's 6'1", so a little shorter. Okay. What do you have last season? 599 yards, 71% catch percentage. We can get behind that for receiving touchdowns. So, all right, we are still big on Rashad Higgins. Not as good as T. Higgins, but still real solid here when you have to be the third wide receiver with OBJ and Jarvis Landry. Rashad Higgins right there. We've got no problem with that. They keep another edge rusher, Takaris McKinley, and then they get cornerback Troy Hill. Y'all know we like to do playerprofile.com on these corners. Let's get up their depth chart real quickly because I want to see where this corner is listed on their depth chart. Is he starting? What was that man's name again? We got Troy Hill. All righty. But here we go. The Browns depth chart. I want to look at their wide receivers just to see where Rashad Higgins fits. So it's OBJ 1, Jarvis Landry 2, then Rashad Higgins 3. So exactly, we can get behind that man as kind of the third wide receiver. That's great yards, 600 yards, fantastic. All right, these corners, we got Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams, and then Troy Hill is kind of the second. So let's just quickly see what Troy Hill is all about here. Our favorite website, playerprofile.com, where we can go and see what the corners were doing against the wide receivers last season. So here we go. Troy Hill against CeeDee Lamb, 6 of 8 for 57 yards. Okay, a little bit of a burn. Slight. Zach Ertz on the tight ends, 4 of 6 for 31 yards and a pick. So against these tight ends, and that's something that we are big on this season, the tight ends getting more and more and more play. So if he can cover these tight ends, that's a real great sign. Against Cole Beasley, he got absolutely destroyed, folks. 10 of 11 for 175, so really can't guard the slot very well. Okay. Darius Slayton, 4 of 7 for 22 yards, great lockup. Terry McLaurin, 2 of 3 for 14 yards, that's a good lockup. Brandon Ayuk, 3 of 4 for 11 yards, great lockup and a pass defense. Isaiah Ford, 4 of 4 for 36 yards, that's a good lockup, but he's not really that good anyway. Against Tyler Lockett, 1 of 5 for 4 yards, great. Chris Godwin, 7 of 12 for 50 yards, and a pass breakup, that's pretty solid work right there. Jacoby Myers, 3 of 6 for 15 yards. Keyshawn Johnson, 8 of 11 for 54 yards, a pass breakup and a pick. That's great right there. Against Tyler Lockett, round 2, 0 of 1 for 0 yards. So this man's actually got some good stuff right here. We can get behind this man as kind of the third corner. That's great. Fantastic. Troy Hill, watch out for that man. The man can get it done. So great additions here by the Browns. Who did they lose? Defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi. And then cornerback in Terrence Marshall, but we just saw them pick up Troy Hill, which is, we like those stats right there. So overall, real solid defensive pickups. They still got Denzel Ward. What did he do last season? How many picks? 2 picks, 1 forced fumble, 18 pass defenses, tied second in the league, though. That's real great. Shutdown corner over there. We love that. And then we got Greedy Williams. How good is this man? How greedy is this man? 2 pass breakups, no picks, no forced fumbles. Let's see what Greedy Williams was doing last season against the big-time names. Can Troy Hill potentially take his spot? We'll see. Let's see. He didn't even play in 2020. These are 2019 numbers. So, all right, what did he do in 2019? Robbie Anderson, 1 of 3 for 15 yards. Tajee Sharp, 1 of 1 for 16 yards. Cortland Sutton, 2 of 4 for 6 yards. If you can guard Cortland Sutton, fantastic. Cortland Sutton didn't play last year, so fantastic. Devontae Parker, 7 of 12 for 101 yards. That's a burn. James Washington, 5 of 9 for 39 yards. That's a pretty good lockup. Against John Brown, 7 of 11 for 89 yards and a pass breakup. That's a pretty burn there. Deontay Johnson, 1 of 2 for 31 yards. John Ross, 3 of 5 for 46 yards. All right, little slight burn. And then John Ross, battle number 2, 3 of 4 for 58 yards. So once again, kind of getting decently burned there. So he's all right. Greedy Williams hasn't played last season, so hopefully he can get return to form a little bit. So overall, the defense is great. And then, like we said, I mean, freaking Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett, fantastic. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, their drafted linebacker, who we are big on. We do have this man ranked as our highest linebacker on our draft big board, so we expect him to really show out this season. So overall, we can get beyond the defense solidly as well. Who are their safeties? What do we got safeties-wise? John Johnson and Rodney Harrison Jr. Alrighty, what did John Johnson do last season? 1 pick, 8 pass defenses. And then Rodney Harrison Jr. What do we got? 1 interception, 7 pass defenses. Alrighty. He's 6'3", though. I'll take that. Rodney Harrison. Go get it done. So solid defense. All right, now let's look at their offensive line rankings. We look at PFF. We don't take this as the gospel. We just use this as a good benchmark to see where the teams are at. So they had great rushing attack last season, so I'm sure the offensive line was good. Let's see where they rank them. And they ranked them as the number 1 offensive line in the league at the end of last season. Great. Let's see what they were saying. This is the culmination of an offseason dedicated to improving the offensive line and improving players such as Wyatt Teller, who were already in Cleveland. The Browns closed the 2019 regular season ranked 23rd on this same list, and we jumped them to the 6th in the league entering 2020 season following the additions of Jedrick Wills Jr. in the first round of the 2020 draft and Jack Conklin in free agency. Those 2 additions bolstered the weakness that the Browns had at the tackles in 2019. Particularly at the right tackle. Conklin ended the 2020 season as the highest graded right tackle in the league. Fantastic. And he was the only right tackle in the NFL to allow a pressure rate below 3%. So do they still have Conklin on this line? Conklin. They got Jack Conklin, so this line should still be very solid. Do they still have Jedrick Wills, who was their draft pick from last season? They do, so fantastic. The line should be fantastic this year as well. The biggest surprise on the line, though, was the man to Conklin's left, Wyatt Teller at right guard. Teller's grade this year also led his position and has served as a massive year-over-year improvement. Fantastic, and they still got Wyatt Teller. So this line didn't lose anybody, folks. The line should still be fantastic this season, so that's something to look for. All right, now let's read the by Bleacher Report what they give the Browns in their offseason grades, and then we'll look at their draft, and then we will walk through their schedule quickly. So here we go. What do they say about the Cleveland Browns? Here we go. So they get their additions are Troy Hill, John Johnson, Anthony Walker, Rashad Higgins, edge rusher Takaris McKinley, defensive lineman Malik Johnson, and then Malcolm Smith, the linebacker, and edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney. Their draft additions, cornerback Greg Newsome. Let's go to their draft really quickly. Cleveland Browns, Greg Newsome was their first, so shoring up their cornerback depth even a little bit more. They go out and sign Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, so their first 2-round picks are bolstering up that defense because they know that offense is fine. And then they go out and draft a wide receiver in the 3rd round, Anthony Schwartz, so we'll see if he can play out a little bit. And then in the 4th round, they get an offensive tackle, defensive tackle, 5th round, they get a linebacker, 5th round, they get a safety, and then the last pick in the 6th round, they go and get a wide receiver. So they just want to shore up their defense, and we believe in Greg Newsome. Where do we have Greg Newsome on our cornerback big board? Ooh, that's okay. He's our 5th ranked. We have Asante Samuel over him. We have Caleb Fairley over him. We have J.C. Horn over them, and then obviously we got Patrick Surtain over him. But overall, should still be a real solid cornerback out there for this Browns team. All right, let's read what they say about them in their free agent period. Here we go. Earlier this month, yours truly delivered a sermon of why the Cleveland Browns have crushed the 2021 offseason. The gist, an already promising team has addressed every single weakness from 2020 thoroughly, retaining a strong offense and turning the defense from a liability into an asset. We did just see that. Johnson was the third highest graded safety in the NFL at Pro Football Focus in 2020, while Hill surrendered a 61.3 passer rating on throws into his coverage in 2019 and intercepted 3 passes and scored twice in 2020. Those two and Newsome, who according to PFF allowed the lowest passer rating in coverage among all Power 5 defenders in 2020, complement standout Denzel Ward in the secondary. Meanwhile, they got ridiculous value in potential first-round pick Omusu Koromoa. Deep in round 2, he and Walker should give them some much-needed range and oomph off the ball, while McKinley and Clowney give them young, highly talented options opposite star pass rusher Myles Garrett. You couldn't have dreamed up a better 2 months for the Browns, and they give them an A+ offseason grade. So we're liking everything we've been seeing and hearing. And now the only thing left to do is walk through their schedule. Now, we have to kind of see what their schedule's like, because last season, real kind of easy peasy all across the board, and they were still giving up a lot of points. But they addressed those needs on defense, so let's see what they're looking like schedule-wise and see how many wins we can give this Browns team. So here we go. They open up, geez Louise, hard schedule right there. They open up at the Chiefs. I cannot give them a win against this Chiefs team. I am sorry. So that's a loss in the first game. Then they go and face the Texans. I'll give them a win there. No problem there. The Texans' overall team is just absolute trash. Yes, Deshaun Watson is looking like he's going to play this year, but overall, I mean, the defense, the offense of the Browns should be able to handle that defense. And then at some point, it's just Deshaun Watson. I mean, he can do it all himself, which is the scary part, because we just saw that last year. Led the league in passing last year, even though the team was trash. But I'm going to give the Browns the win there over the Texans. And then they go and face the Bears, and they are at home. This is going to be a real good game. Justin Fields playing week 3 against a solid Browns defense, or it's Andy Dalton, whatever it is. The Browns defense should be able to take decent care of it and control the game and run the ball on this Bears defense. So I'm going to give them a win over the Bears. Should be a real solid game, though. Then they go and face the Vikings in Minneapolis. I'm going to buy into this Browns defense, folks. We're loving everything we've been seeing about them, what they did this offseason, and I'm going to give them a win over the Vikings as well. Then they go on the road and face the Chargers. A real winnable game right here, folks. Truly. Should we give them a win? That's the tough one. This is gonna be a real close game. It is winnable. I'm gonna say it like this. Because they have the Chargers and the Cardinals back to back, they win one of those games. I'm not sure which one. It's gonna be real good. I mean, these are great games right here. Browns at Chargers, that's must watch. Cardinals at Browns. Once again, another big watch right there. So I'll give them one win between these two. So we're at 5 wins heading into the Broncos game. And this is Thursday Night Football in Cleveland. I'll give the home team the win right there. That's 6 wins. Then I'll have them split against the Steelers, since they face them twice. And so I'll have them winning the Sunday, October 31st game, because it's in Cleveland. So that's win number 7. I'm going to have them sweeping the Bengals, honestly. I'm not a big fan of this, big believer in this Bengals team, so I'm going to give them a win against the Bengals. They'll have them sweep them. Then they're at the Patriots. I'm giving them a win there, folks. I don't like that Patriots team. Then they go and face the Lions. That's another win. We're at 10 wins. Then they go and face the Ravens. First time in Baltimore, Sunday Night Football. Not going to give them a win there. Then they have a bye, and then they face the Ravens again, this time at home. I'm going to have them splitting just because of how it is in the schedule. Sunday Night Football, then the bye, just kind of critiquing all your mistakes and learning about them, and then you go and face the Ravens again. So I'm going to give them a win with the second meeting against the Ravens. We're at 11. Then they face the Raiders. That's going to be a real interesting game right there. The offense of the Raiders may give them trouble. I'm going to give the Raiders a win right there. Then they go and face the Packers. Can't give them a win. Then they face the Steelers a second time, this time in Pittsburgh. We had them splitting. They lose this game. And then they face the Bengals. That's a win. They go 12 wins. 12-5, folks. And this is a real winnable, workable schedule, folks, just like last season was. And they took advantage They gave up some points, but they took advantage. So we're going to have them at, did we say 12-5? Is this a 12-win Browns team? This is a 12-win Browns team. Damn. Yes, sir. A workable, their hardest opponents, obviously the Chiefs, very tough. Vikings, Chargers, Cardinals, Broncos, these are all real solid games, and I think they can probably steal 2, potentially 3 away. It's going to be interesting to see how many. But this is a tough stretch right here, but it's a winnable stretch. And then the Steelers twice, you can split there. The Bengals twice you can beat. The Patriots, easy. The Lions, easy. Raiders is a potential win as well, but I'm going to give them 12 wins, folks. I'm going to give them 12-5. Kevin Stefanski, year 2. Baker Mayfield, kind of year 2 under Kevin Stefanski. Winnable, decently tough, but winnable schedule. 12-5. Alrighty, now where do we rank this team? Alrighty, I'm going to put them above Washington because I like their quarterback better than Washington's quarterback, and I think the defenses should be solid. I'm going to put them above the Titans slightly. Do we put them up? I'm going to put them above the Raiders, too. They can win at the end of the season. The Raiders can't. What was the Browns? What we got the Browns. Let's go to this. The Browns were winning at the end of the year last season. We can go here. Browns at the end of the season. They won 4 out of their last 6 they won. So they win consistently throughout the season. The Raiders don't do that. They've proven it for the last 2 years. So we're gonna rank this Browns team at 12-5. This is a real the Browns, folks. The Browns. We had to put the Browns name in here. We didn't. We just said 12-5. All right, Browns here. All right, folks. I'm liking the Browns this year. I think they've got everything. OBJ back too. Sheesh. We didn't even talk about that, folks. OBJ's back. He's going to be back. You got Jarvis Landry, Rashad Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones. They've got everything. And then you've got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They've got Austin Hooper, who was invited to Tight End University, which we are big on. And this is a winnable schedule, folks. Love it. Love this Browns team. This is going to be a good Browns team, folks. Kevin Stefanski, I trust him. I believe in him. Y'all should too. All right, so that's our NFL refresher for today. Browns going 12-5. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Anything breaking? Michael Thomas, what do we got? Michael Thomas suggests Saints are trying to damage his reputation. We've talked about that. Saquon Barkley, he's warming up. He's looking so good out there. Gosh dang. Touchdown Barkley. Oh, my God. We're talking about Saquon Barkley tomorrow on the show. I love it. Alrighty, folks. That's going to do it for us today. A little late, but we had to squeeze in that entire segment today for our NFL team refresher. Alrighty, folks. We're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow live noon Eastern. Like always, folks, we are live here every single day. Every single day. Who else is doing it every single day? We are. So why do y'all not listen to us every single day? Come on, folks. Support local podcasts. All right.